Hello, everyone. All right. Welcome to All Things Odd. I'm Dr. Natalie Phillips,
And I'm Dr. Hannah Galloway.
and we are coming to you live. We have a fun topic today, and I know we've covered this before, but thought we would cover it again because we love it so much. So,
Yes.
we're going to talk about just using philanthropy in our practices or in our businesses, and some of the things that Dr. Galloway and I have used, as well as just kind of projecting what we're going to be doing in our new practice as well. So I'm going to have Dr. Galloway actually start us off with one of our first. So we're going to cover the top 10 things that we can think of to really use philanthropy in your businesses. And I'm going to have her start off with the first one as I kind of get some pictures here that we can want to share with
Yes.
you.
So the first one, first couple we're going to talk about are missions. And I actually have been really pleasantly surprised how many of our patients have seen our mission pictures on our walls, seen it on our Facebook page. I had a patient recently who came in for a hearing test. He didn't have a hearing loss. That was kind of going to be the end of our relationship. And then he said, "Hey, are you going back to Guatemala? Can I donate to your mission?" And so it was just, a short hearing test with this patient, but now we're going to be kind of connected through this because he donated to the mission fund. So I have traveled overseas to Guatemala with Faith and Practice. And so they're a Guatemala based mission. And they're based out of Texas in the United States. So they only travel to Guatemala with teams that are multidisciplinary. So it's not just an audiology mission, it's a medical mission. I was on a team of 40 people, and we had specialties like, gynecology, dentistry, pediatrics, primary care, just access to all different kinds of care. And patients would come and kind of get triaged as, what's the most important need that needs to be addressed for them. And so that's something that I've done. And I've just been really surprised at how many patients have really, come to us or say, "I'm keeping my care with you because I really like how you guys give back," or, that you guys do this on the side. So that's kind of been my experience hearing from patients about it, which I've really appreciated.
Yeah, I love that too. And so she's planning another trip, and we're kind of collecting some different hearing aids and everything to get going on the Guatemala trip with Faith and Practice. One of the other things too that I wanted to add in as well is I've been able to travel also internationally or overseas, is what we're talking about here. And that was actually with the Starkey Hearing Foundation. And so hopefully you can see that. Yeah. And so I was able to travel to India, Peru, Guyana, Mexico, even taking my son. And then when he was in middle school, and then also did a kind of a mission at the Super Bowl, which was actually not overseas, but it was still connected to the Starkey Hearing Foundation. And so with that, they had some major goals that they actually met really well. They wanted to fit over 1 million people with hearing aids within like 10 years, but I think they did it in like 5 years. And they're starting to get going on that as well up again. I know that there was a little bit of travel issues with COVID, but yeah, so this is something that, if you're able to do a mission, whether it is something with a bigger corporation or foundation like the Starkey Hearing Foundation, whether it is something that there's some local people, that are getting together like Faith and Practice, like what Dr. Galloway does, we really encourage you that this is a great way of giving back overseas. And so we wanted to kind of just briefly talk about that. The other thing that we wanted to talk about, so that's number one, is mission overseas. The second way that you can work philanthropy into your offices or your practices is just missions within the community. And so this one really, obviously there are lots of different audiologists that are out there that run missions in their backyard, right? In their own state, in their own county or city or whatever it is. They also travel too, but they do things in their backyard. One of the things that we found as a something that Dr. Galloway and I love to do is we actually were able to help out in this particular mission, which was in the community, and it's called Music Cares. And Music Cares, what we did was we went to an event that was run here by the Bohemian Foundation, and it was the New West Fest, and they had tons of musicians and even people that worked backstage, and they offered free musicians' earplugs to them. So what we would do is we would dedicate, there was about 2 or 3 days, and we would split that with other audiologists in our community and students. And we would go there and we would take ear impressions to be ordered. And then when it came, and then they would just send them out to the particular person that we did. And there's like, I would say there's at least 100 to 200 musicians and people that work backstage that needed this, and they look forward to it every year. So it's really kind of fun to be able to serve local musicians and people here that are giving their time at this new West Fest and really providing that for them. And so that was kind of cool too. So again, this is the second way. So we're going to cover the top 10 things that we've come up with. So mission overseas was the first one. The second one is missions within the community. So as you're tuning in, if you have ideas of audiologists, ways to give back, or if you're an audiologist tuning in and you have an idea that your practice or your business has implemented, please share it in the comments so that other people can learn as well. We're not necessarily the experts. We're just sharing our experience of what we've done and what we tell our patients to get involved as well. So we've also done some fun missions also in the community. So that's the second one. All right. So the third one.
Yep. Third one is funding. And so there are some patients that are going to come through your doors that need services, but maybe they don't have the resources to access those services. So let's say you have a patient that needs hearing aids. You can't, afford to get them hearing aids on their fixed income. So you can search for funding from, these other outlets. In Fort Collins, we're in Larimer County. So there's something called the Larimer County Hearing Aid Bank. It's kind of a need-based organization, and it works on a sliding scale. Hearing aids are donated, and then they can be fit by audiologists like us who choose to work with the hearing aid bank to be fit on somebody else. So that's a great option. There are other options like the Olive Osmond Hearing Aid Fund. I know we had talked about that on a show previously, but that's a good resource for somebody, especially children, that need hearing aids, and maybe we're not able to get them the level that they need. So maybe they could help us, meet that certain number. But that's also an organization that we've worked with. Starkey Here Now was an organization we used to work with a lot. I believe during COVID, they sort of ceased that program, and I don't know if it's just been paused or if it's coming back. But in Colorado, we have expanded Medicaid. And so I found out that if you qualify for Medicaid in the state of Colorado, you will also qualify for Starkey Here Now, what the requirements were a couple years back. So that helped me out a lot because as many Colorado audiologists know, hearing aids aren't covered for adults by Medicaid in the state of Colorado. It's just children. So that could be really helpful too.
Awesome. All right. So that's the third way. Again, we're going to cover the top 10 things that we've come up with that you can kind of work giving back or philanthropy into your practices or businesses. Another one that we thought was kind of fun was getting your staff and just people in your office involved. And so, we had run some different things, if you followed us from before, that we're planning to kind of continue on. But so, for example, getting the staff involved could mean a couple of things. It could mean that, hey, ask your staff, what's a philanthropy that is important to you, and maybe we'll donate a certain amount of the profits, or we'll run some kind of campaign that particular month can go to that particular staff's choice of philanthropy, right? So that's one way. A second way would also be having some different contests. And so we've had, especially around Christmas, we love to do different contests, whether it is decorating stockings or ornaments or whatever it is, right? And then we actually not only have the staff involved, but we have our patients involved. And so as they come in, like, we have all of these things hung up, and then they get to vote. And then we also share it on social media, but we count everything up, and then we will be donating a certain dollar amount for each vote that we get. And so we share that as well. So kind of getting that staff involved, even the patients involved, it's kind of fun. I know that this Christmas coming up, we had talked about even doing maybe a tree where you have a tree that has, requests from people in the community of their needs, and patients can come in and they can actually, take something off of the tree and say, okay, I've got this, and I'll go shop for this and I'll bring it back. And then we as a business or a practice will take all of those donations and drop it off at some drop point. And so there's different ways that you can get your staff involved, or also get your patients involved as well. So that would be a great way. Plus, you've got that buy-in because people are super interested in certain philanthropies. And so that allows them to really hone in on what their loves are, which kind of leads us into even this too. So number 5.
Well, and jumping back to number 4 for just a second too, I've just seen our patients get really excited to see, oh, you guys are supporting Stork Support. I use that organization, or they've really helped my family, or even just having all those different organizations listed, like this is who we're donating to. Patients got really excited just to see that we're supporting this organization that they know about from some other facet of their life. So getting, let's see, number 5, having the drives in your office. So we had done this previously with shoes before, or canned food. Just have a box, right by your front desk that, we're collecting canned food for the food pantry, or we're, collecting shoes for whatever organization. One that I cannot take any credit for, but I'll give a shout out to Robin Carson at Odd Boss. She was talking about doing a pet adoption drive, and her business actually worked with local rescue organizations to have a kind of a drive where people could come, and they had like food trucks in the parking lot, and people could meet these animals and then adopt them. And she was also having a foster dog in her office, so like an actual dog in the office that was available for adoption. So if a patient came in, fell in love with the dog, they could adopt them. So we haven't done that, and I'm a big dog lover, so I totally would. But
I know, I was just thinking, I totally forgot about that. So I'm glad you brought that up. We'll have to tag Robin Carson.
Idea.
Yeah, or somebody tag Robin Carson out of Texas.
Yes.
And it's funny because I have a feeling we're going to be doing that because Dr. Galloway is such a dog lover. So I love that. Thanks for reminding us about that as well. Yeah. All right. So also we thought up of maybe volunteering together. So again, this kind of goes back to getting your staff involved, right? And really finding out what is something that is close to their heart. And then maybe for that particular month, you decide to go volunteer as a group together, or as an office together, or maybe if patients want to get involved again. This is a community thing, right? And maybe it's something that, hey, this is what we're going to focus on for this particular month. You can either donate, or we're planning to go volunteer together at the food bank, or whatever it is, and then have it a particular day that's set on the calendar that staff and patients can go together to serve your community. So we thought that would be kind of something fun as well, is to volunteer together. And number 7.
All right, matching programs for your employees. So this is also just kind of, getting your employees involved, but maybe your employees are, already giving back to, these different organizations within the community that they have relationships with. And if you do have some sort of a matching program, that might be a huge incentive, working for you, that if, they're donating this much and then you'll match it, to whatever organization. That kind of helps them, because they can pick whatever organization it is. It's something that's dear to your heart, and then you're just sort of supporting that for them. So I think that's an awesome way too.
Yeah. And if you guys are thinking of any other possible options too, please put it in the comments for other people to learn as well. Or you might have other ideas that we haven't even thought up of. So we love that this is kind of a learning experience together. All right. So number 8, we came up with donate a percentage of profits. And this is pretty easy, and simple, but it either can start at the manufacturer side of it, where you talk about it with your manufacturer and they put it in a fund, or you take it from your business, once the sale is made, and then that's particular percentage. Talk to your accountant, and that particular percentage can be put in maybe a fund that you can donate at the end of the year. So that's something that's simple to figure out, but maybe you decide to do a percentage of your profits as well. All right. This one's kind of fun.
So attend events. This would be something you could do, with your staff. I know locally we have Foothills Gateway. That's a really awesome organization that helps adults with developmental disabilities. And they have these big fundraisers, like they have a glow golf tournament. So we participated in that, where, you enter your office as a team, or you buy a table at some sort of a, game night fundraiser or something. So you're giving a chunk of money, to the community, but then you're also kind of inviting your employees, for a night out. Usually those kind of things, there's, drinks, and, it's kind of a fun thing too.
Yeah. And I think at these events too, sometimes if there's even auction items, what I
Mhm.
thought was would be kind of fun is if when you're at these events, maybe you auction, and you bid on something that's in this auction, and that could be a giveaway to a particular staff member or to even a patient that you can pass on as well. So that would be something when you're attending events together. Or if there's something that's important, maybe, like human trafficking, you can buy tickets to all of this, to this presentation or this talk so that you learn a little bit more about it. So
Mhm.
things like that, attending events together would be kind of neat for more of awareness and education as well. All right. And then the last thing we wanted to mention, obviously, is use social media. So something like this, where, our show, All Things Odd, we love to talk about different things. In fact, Dr. Galloway and I had talked about really trying to structure the shows this year and really make sure that we touch upon, technology and new toys, research. We are actually going to have a philanthropy section every month as well. So if you're listening to this, this is how we're using social media to get this out there. Obviously, kind of talking about our experience, but if there is a particular philanthropy that you want highlighted, then please reach out to us either by comment or by direct message, and let us know if you want them to be highlighted in our monthly Philanthropy Corner show that is dedicated to giving back. And we want to do that because that's so important to us as well. But even through social media, I've been through Facebook Live campaigns, raising money that way. There are different donation campaigns that you can do as well. I know a lot of people, they're very familiar with it when they actually do birthdays, right? Like they donate to a particular organization, and Facebook has made it, somewhat easy to pick that organization. But I know that they also take a cut of it as well. And so there's many different ways that you can run campaigns as well. So don't forget to use social media, share it out, and again, if there are any other ideas that you guys have, we ask you two things. Let us know, because we might want to implement that as well. And number two, again, think about if there's some type of organization that would love to be featured on this live show that actually goes out on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn, and then also our Instagram page as well. So yeah, we just wanted to kind of run through those different options. Again, if you guys have any other ideas, we would love to be able to hear that and have that conversation and share that with other people that are tuning in as well. So with that, anything else, Dr. Galloway?
I don't think so. Oh, I guess I will mention, I've told a lot of my patients that I was heading back to Guatemala in February. They've postponed my trip, and so hopefully I'll still be able to go in 2022. But like Dr. Phillips said, we've kind of we're collecting hearing aids. We've gotten some donations, which is really awesome. So I'll just keep my fingers crossed, that we can still go, and it's kind of TBD as far as the date. So yeah,
Yeah.
just throw
Yep.
that
And
out.
we're collecting, and Dr. Galloway is going to spend next month. She's going to spend a lot of time talking a little bit more about her experience in Guatemala and what she's looking forward to. And I do have to shout out two audiologists that have actually sent us a lot of hearing aids that we're
Yes.
collecting. And we've already got a bin. We've already got our student that actually organized everything for us. And that is Dan Tibbs and Tiffany White. It was Tiffany Brown, but she's now Tiffany White. So thank you to both Dan and Tiffany for sending us some hearing aids that Dr. Galloway is going to be able to take with her to Guatemala. So we thank you guys so
Yep.
much. All right. So thanks for tuning in. We will be back here next week, 12:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we hope you guys have a great week. And we'll see you then. All right. Bye.
Bye.